Something I'm seeing a lot of my clients struggle with lately is when a man goes quiet. Within a few hours, they start spiraling, and it's something that I really wanted to talk about today. The spiral that you're feeling is about him. There's no way for you to know for sure why a man pulls back without him telling you. And a lot of times he'll tell you something that isn't really true just to save face and say something. You'll never get the real reason. There's a lot of times some subconscious programming, conditioning that maybe even he doesn't realize that he's doing or performing. And 9 times out of 10, if he actually told you why he stopped talking to you, you, number one, wouldn't believe him, or number 2, would try to maybe talk him into it. That's something that a lot of my clients do. I am a big fan of gray rock. I feel like, to me, being ghosted is disrespectful. So if a man were to disappear for several weeks, I won't be re-engaging or continuing this conversation, because to me, a partner is someone that, ladies, we want a man obsessed with us. Men aren't gonna like this opinion. I don't really care. This channel isn't for them. We want a man that will move mountains to make sure he gets to spend time with you. Back to what happens the few hours after you stop hearing from a man, or a few days after you don't hear from him. The big ping would be 24 hours of silence. I, in my opinion, should never have a relationship where it's 24 hours of silence. There should never be a time, unless, I literally dated a man on a sailboat who would only get Wi-Fi for 2 hours a day, and I would literally hear from that man every day. He would make it a point to express interest every single day, even when he was in the middle of the fucking ocean and barely had reception to reach me. That's the kind of man you are looking to attach yourself with. This is going to be the future father, potentially, of your babies, or the person that you spend the next 60 something years with. You want this person coming after you. You want them attentive. You want their follow through. So a few hours after whatever, for me, it used to be 24 hours. For a lot of my clients, it can even be 12 hours. When the silence hits, what does this mean? The female brain, what does this mean? When a man goes quiet, you really can't know. You're literally at a dead end. But I feel like for women, I don't care what the science says online. I feel like for women, we want to solve the problem. We want to get to the destination that we want. We're fighters. We don't give up. Oh, the air show's going on. I mean, what this looks like is rereading the whole conversation. Guilty. I've done it in the past. You go all the way to the first message and you try to decipher where it went wrong, where you said something, where his energy shifted, where the conversation shifted, where, counting how many words each message has versus now. Sitting down with multiple friends and replaying the whole conversation from your perspective. What do you think this means? What do you think he was thinking? We can never know. We will never know. Even if we ask him and he tells us, that may not even really be the reality. It's almost like you want the relief of finding something wrong so that you can get evidence that the reason wasn't you. But the reason wasn't you, sis. You were the person, you were yourself. Hopefully you weren't performing. And if you were performing, then it's obviously why it exploded. But if you were being yourself and this person faded out, it's because you were being you. There's nothing to fix. We want you to be you. We want you don't want to perform for the next 60 years to be a different version of yourself than you actually are, do you? No, you don't. So why would you perform in the dating period? And also, again, you don't want a man who's going to disappear and fade out like that. That's not someone you can rely on. That's not someone you can build with. That's not someone that you can feel safe and close to connect and be vulnerable with. Somewhere in your childhood, you realized that relationships are wobbly. You learned that a connection, it relied on you keeping it afloat. Myself, as a recovering people pleaser, because I had narcissistic parents, I then proceeded to date men that would make me earn their attention and love. That to me was like an addiction. A healthy relationship was boring. But if he faded in and out and was avoidant, that's what my normal was. And I kept going to therapy, talk therapy, and saying what is this? What? And they kept saying pick better, but I had never experienced better. I had never had a healthy relationship. So I didn't know what to be looking at as a red flag, which is why I made this video today. I wanted to point out to you how someone treats you is none of your business, and you just have to listen to your internal central nervous system. If you are texting with someone, and I want you to get butterflies, I want you to be excited, sis. Like, I'm not trying to take that away from you, but if you have like this anxiety, if you don't hear from the person, that is a red flag. Not about them, it's about what you still need to heal in you. And I've said this in other videos on my channel. The relationships that we have are what we grow and heal through. You can go do ayahuasca, do breathwork ceremonies, and journal your affirmations up the wazoo. But if you aren't going into relationships and practicing what you're learning, you're not going to go anywhere. Yes, going into relationships and getting hurt is scary, right? It's not something that we want to do constantly. But doing this homework gets you an A on the final exam. So you almost have to put yourself in situations to get hurt. I mean, a caveat to that is while you're doing the healing, you will eventually start choosing better men. So you won't be hurt as much. Like the guy that I was just mentioning, the sailor, he had something personal come up in his life. He took 2 weeks from communicating with me. At that point, I knew their relationship was over. He reached back out and apologized and explained that he had a lot going on. I took a few hours to reply. He immediately texted like 4 or 5 hours later, hey, I didn't expect a response. I just wanted to be polite and let you know. The following day I replied and said, thank you so much. I had a great time getting to know you. Because I genuinely did. I genuinely enjoyed him, but my partner wouldn't do that. And he's at a phase in his life where he's 30 and he's going through things, and that's fine. It's just we aren't in alignment, at least not at this time. And that's okay. So if someone is treating you like without true intentions and setting a plan and stating like, I want serious with you, this is what I want. Unless they're catering the relationship to you, I know manosphere is not gonna like this, but I don't fucking care. This is my channel, this is my content. This is what I have found works and gets people married and has children and live together for several years happily ever after, okay? Scanning your own body, checking your central nervous system is way more informative than anything that a man could show or tell you. How you feel around someone tells you everything you need to know. And if you are having racing thoughts, if you are rereading messages, if you are asking friends what you think, if you are Googling things, if you are comparatively conversations like, hey, yeah, you know, I had this guy and blah, 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 and you're like leaning in to see what people say about that situation, this is not your person. You're learning the things that you still have to work on. It's not that I'm telling you to not care what the reasoning was, because maybe there was a behavior that you were doing or a mannerism, lifestyle choice that he's not in alignment with that would be helpful for you to know. What I want you to work on is tolerating ambiguity. That's silence. Being able to sit in it. Being able to not care if you never hear from a man again is the most empowering way for you to get a healthy, loving man. You not caring if you never see a man ever again, you setting boundaries firmly and not caring. I saw a TikTok today where this lady, she's Chinese, her I think it was her cousin in China, was being so mean to a man, and she was like, hey, you're kind of being mean to this guy. Even the girl's parents were like, you're kind of being mean to this guy. This man would send this woman his entire paycheck at the end of the month. Like, he would just send her she was incredibly mean, and her own family were like, hey, maybe you're being a little mean on this guy. He would still send his money, and he was a great guy. So you bending over backwards for a man not only is unattractive to men don't like that. They realize that they can mistreat you. It gives them power, and they lose respect for you, and they have no interest in you, and they're just going to use you and discard you. So you standing in your power and having boundaries is literally the best and only way for you to get a healthy, stable relationship. Like, you kind of have to be cunty. You have to be not bossy rude, because that's what the Chinese girl was doing, and her whole family was like, maybe don't do that, but it was still working for her. But a man, psychologically, from what I've understood with my research, enjoys the chase, enjoys the hunt. Men are hunters. We're gatherers, okay? We like to gather the information. Why is he behaving this way? Why is he doing this? Why is he talking like this? What is he thinking? What are you thinking? And men will say nothing. You know, they go and get things. So when you make it easy for them, they're bored. That's why relationships are failing up the wazoo. Women are over providing for men. They're having businesses, and then they're also doing the dishes and cooking and getting his laundry ready and taking care of his children. No, sis, I won't be doing that. People are coming out of the woodwork saying to me, like, Lisa, you are so smart. In our late 20s and 30s, there was so much pressure to get married and trust. I felt behind. I felt woe was me. I felt devastated that I couldn't find my partner. But now that I'm 43 and I haven't had a divorce under my belt, I don't have children attached to someone that I can't tolerate, I feel so blessed and thankful. Now, would I have loved to have had a child? Sure. I'm not saying it's bad to do those things. I'm just saying personally, not forcing myself to be in a relationship with someone just because that's what everyone was doing at the time is what I'm trying to point out. Stop trying to keep up with everyone. Just because all of your friends are getting married doesn't mean you are ready to get married. And I hate to remind you, but a lot of the times when we keep attracting the wrong partner, it's because what our vibration is saying. There's a limiting belief that you are repeatedly cycling out into the stratosphere based on your vibration and your energy, where you are telling the universe that's the kind of man that you deserve and want to attract. Therefore, you're attracting a dumpster fire because you need to fix the trash. You need to take out the trash. That's a you problem. So you are attracting these men, which I hate when a man on my content on social media is like, you have a broken picker. Because trust, a lot of men will deceive you and trick you. And I had a man just today, I talked about it on one of my videos. We matched on Raya, so I can't screenshot it. But his very first message to me was, what are your core values? Oh God, now I can't remember what it was. Hold on. What are you looking for and what are your core values? Okay, what am I looking for? You want me to tell you exactly how I want you to present yourself? That's not gonna be happening. And what are my core values? I don't know, do you want to give me multiple choice? There's a lot of things that I should be having a conversation with you about versus my core values right out. Like literally the first message being core values, it just felt like very, very salesy to me. I was immediately turned off. I did not reply, I blocked him. I swear it was like 10 years ago, I had a friend who was dating someone and she came over one day and she was spiraling. And she's like, I feel him pulling back. I know that this is like the pivotal moment where he decides if I become his like we become boyfriend, girlfriend. And I feel him like working through that problem in his head. And I know that my best course of action is to do nothing. It's to not call it out. It's to not express what I deserve. It's none of those things. It's to be quiet and wait and see, but it's driving me up a wall. A few months later, they got engaged and then they got married and they had a baby and like they went through the whole track. She was right. She, instead of saying like, hey, I don't like that you're going quiet, or hey, I don't like that you're pulling back, or hey, I don't like that you're doing all these things, she emotionally understood that a man has to pull back sometimes to step forward more. And the worst thing that you can do is reach out. Like me personally, when I'm dating someone, I don't message a man first. I just was dating an NBA player and it was the most painful 5 days of my life. It would literally be from him, WYD, question mark, smiley face, and a written out smiley face, not an emoji. And I would write like something cute and he'd be like, on my way to training. And then a few hours later, he'd be like, about to take a nap. Like, I don't know where to go with this conversation. Is he wanting me to lead the conversation? Is he wanting me to carry the conversation? Because I'm not about to do that. So it phased out, I think after like a week or whatever, but it's not, I think that type of man in NBA players like used to being like chased, hunted. That's just never going to be me because a man likes to hunt. I know he still wonders. A lot of men will tell me they love when a woman is kind of rude and like demanding. It makes them respect you more. So ladies, he may have had a reason. He may have had no reasons. You'll never know. And what I want you to do for your homework this week, practice getting comfortable in the quiet. If someone is not showing you who they are, listen, pay attention. The takeaway is I want you to ask yourself, why is the unknowing of why he stopped speaking to you more valuable to you than your self-respect? Ask yourself this, why would you rather make the problem something that you did be the problem? It's almost like guilt is something you're familiar with and the unknown is so uncomfortable that you would rather place blame on yourself and try to pull that man back. I don't want you to do that anymore. Can we agree to not do that anymore? Put in the comment sections below, we're not doing that anymore. Because being at fault gave you something to blame yourself with and call it self-sabotage. And maybe you are self-sabotaging. I don't know who you are. I'm not, unless we're working together one-to-one. But when you don't know what the reason is and it's nothing, for a lot of people that are recovering people pleasers, that is a very uncomfortable and like a hellscape type mental space to be in, because the spiraling just like is out of control. We don't want that for you anymore, sis. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe. If you want to hire me for one-to-one coaching, my link is here. And YouTube is going to post a video here that I made that they think that you would enjoy next. Bye for now.